Ralph is down south. He left right after New Year's.
Good for him.
Yeah. He needed to get out of here for a little while.
He's got a lot of things going on. I'm sure he's working down there most of the time.
He's on the phone all the time, yes. Actually, he didn't get out until about the 7th, I think it was.
Left at 7 at night.
The 7th
Oh,
is
the
when he
7th.
left. He left in the morning, so
What's he put in, a couple months down there?
2 months. I said, you need to stay down there longer than 2 months. And he said, I need to get out of there before the spring breakers come in.
It was long. I saw that. And arduous.
Everyone want to turn their mics on?
Mine's on.
There you go. Yeah, I hear it.
We also gotta take this off.
That's all.
Yeah, that's next meeting.
We're not gonna do it. According to my watch, I have 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order, and please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome guests, one or two, and commissioners and department heads. First item on the agenda.
It's roll
Oh,
call.
roll call, yeah.
Dan,
Here.
Wanda,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
John,
Here.
Don.
Here. Does anybody have a financial conflict of interest?
I do not.
I do not.
I don't.
I do not. Thank you. Next on the agenda would be approval of the agenda, and we have a couple changes. Number one, we're going to add under 5A the detention agreement with Minnehaha County for juveniles, and eliminate number 7, the ambulance quarterly report. It'll be done at a later date. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to make a public
No.
oh, sorry,
I would move approval of the modified agenda.
thank you. Wanda?
Second.
Dan, second, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries. Does anybody have, public comment that they would like to make? Hearing none, we'll move on, to the highway.
Hello. That time of year again, spring low limit, we have to pass a resolution, submit it to peer for spring low limits. Didn't know if we wanted to move forward as we have in the past. Currently, or recent, in the years past, we've done 7 ton per an axle on 430th Avenue from 300 to 46, which would be north of Lesterville there. 7 ton per an axle on 450th from Highway 50 to 310, which would be by the hay mill, out by Gayville there. Legal low limits on East Side Drive.
And that back history for the public, that road is built to handle that particular load in
Correct. Yep.
this weather. That's why we got that was it $300,000 agribusiness grant to build that road, for this, so we don't have to load limit it.
Right. And also legal low limit on County Road 210, Deer Boulevard. It'd be that concrete road going all the way to Napa Junction, or Dakota Plains. And then also 6 ton per an axle on the rest of the county asphalts.
So Mike, what's your recommendation?
I say we can stick with that. The one thing we could add would be county primary gravels and county maintained township gravels as deemed necessary.
That sounds fair. Considering what we had to deal with in 2019, it gives us some flexibility if we start getting a road that's falling apart.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree to that too as well.
Do you want to just add that to your resolution?
Yep, I have one here with that on there.
Just happen to have one?
You want to read that, read what you have on there for that item? For that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add one more thing to that. I think that under option 1, we have the $150 for a single trip permit, 6 tons, or 80,000 pounds. Option number 2, we got $200 amount for a annual permit.
An annual permit, which would be just during spring load limits.
Yep. I would suggest that we move that 200 to 450 for an annual permit. I feel that if someone's gonna go out on the road, they're gonna take and spend that extra $50 versus for $150 for a one-time. So I think we should take advantage of that issue where, if they're gonna buy an annual permit, let's charge them a little bit more than. And Mike and I discussed that today, so, and he's in agreement with that also, so.
John, you know trucking more than all of us, and if that's something you support, I could support that as well.
So are you seconding that?
Well,
Was that a motion?
I don't think
We haven't
we've
made
had
the
one
motion
yet.
yet.
but-
Mike's got one of those resolutions drawn up too, so.
Just happens to have one of those too.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion,
I so move.
okay?
I'd second that.
motion?
I'd second that motion with the amendments.
Of the increase.
The increase and then the option of placing it on, you said primary.
Primary
gravel
gravels and county maintained township gravels as deemed necessary.
As deemed necessary.
But isn't that on that's in the resolution, correct?
No, it was not, no.
I think it has to
Yeah.
be.
I-
Oh, I thought you said you.
I guess I would,
You're gonna add it.
Yep, I have, it's added on.
and Mr. Chair, to add that, I would say as deemed necessary by the highway superintendent. So if we got a road that's falling apart the day after the county meeting, we don't wanna wait 2 weeks for us to put it in. I think he's got all of our faith, so as deemed necessary by the highway superintendent, and I will
That makes
support
sense, Dan.
And I think this is a first resolution for this year, so the resolution number will be 23-1. That should be in the motion too.
Any further discussion?
Patty, do you want a new motion with that number in it? Or,
Just,
Yeah,
if you want just that,
yeah, for
Can we do
resolution, what is 0123?
23-1.
23-1, or 01,
with the fee increase
yes.
and the highway superintendent's
Yeah, authority to,
authority to change that?
yeah, to primary gravels and
County maintained.
county maintained.
Township roads.
Township roads, as he deems necessary.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Pose the same sign, motion carries.
Then next would be, every year we go out for annual bids for supplies, materials, chip seal. I guess we just need approval from the board to go out for bid for them supplies.
I'd entertain a motion to go out to bid for
I'd
those
move
supplies.
to allow the highway department to advertise for annual supply bids.
I'll second that.
Second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Pose the same sign, motion carries.
One more, I guess, Mike, I just would relay to the guys, you know, how much we appreciate all their hard work with all the snow that they got. I think they've done a great job. Heard nothing but good comments, so keep up the good work and tell your guys how much we appreciate them, so.
Thank you.
I'd say, on the county roads that I've driven on since the snow, they've been well
Yes.
maintained.
It's, it'll be a challenge here. If we do get 10 inches of snow and we get wind, all of our ditches are full now, so we'll be out there chasing snow a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Lots
looking,
of drifts. We'll put those new trucks to work.
that's right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mike.
Next on the agenda would be the sheriff quarterly reports.
No, I don't, we have 5A is the detention
Oh,
agreement.
Sure,
No. Sheriff, sit down, we're not ready for you.
detention first.
That was a false start.
You might have a few of them before I get used to this.
5-yard penalty.
Next item on the agenda is the detention agreement with Minnehaha County. And you have that.
Yep, and then I did send that to you guys,
Yep, it was in the packet.
and it was just
Yeah.
an annual, we have to do it every year.
What is that agreement we signed, just, was it a
That was
last
the-
month?
That was something else.
That was the, if you, about the new facility.
Oh, I got that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you email that or did you?
No, I put it in your emails. It
Oh.
wasn't in the packet,
That's what I
cause I got it late.
Well, I don't think we have much choice. We gotta, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot of juveniles that have to be detained and,
It went up to $287 a day, so about a $20 a day increase, roughly. So,
I don't-
Brian and John, did that go in your email?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just don't
it,
have access.
Oh,
he doesn't have his yet,
oh,
so we're sharing.
okay.
As much as I would prefer not to pay Minnehaha County, I don't think we have a choice. We have to house those children somewhere, and they cannot be placed with adults, so. So I'd move to approve the resolution with Minnehaha County.
I'll second that.
any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Pose same sign, motion carries. Now,
Now it's
the sheriff's report.
welcome.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I think I was required to be here anyways, but Sheriff Chrissy, this is my first term, and I'm, this is kind of new to me, but I'm learning as I'm going, and we don't currently have a jail administrator right now, but we've opened that position up for about 30 days, so we're getting some applications to come in for that jail admin position. So, as far as the report, I don't know if there's any questions you may have for me. Like I said, I'm kind of learning as I'm going, but I'll do what I can. I know that if you look in the ICE column in the BIA, those are current bills that are outstanding. And we are working with District 3 right now to get a SAMS number. I think District 3 is running some issues, so those are outstanding bills. We're not taking any BIA or ICE until that gets fixed.
At what page is that on?
If you just look at the December report, it's the 2022 Yankton County Sheriff Fee Report. Or no, sorry, the next
I'm seeing the
page.
jail billing 2022.
Yep. So at the bottom column where it says
And then
total.
year-to-date, it says ICE owes us $280?
Yep, 280, and then the BIA is 19,950.
Okay,
So those are outstanding right now. They're just hung up on the SAMS number. District 3 is running into multiple issues with that, so we're not gonna house anybody until that gets fixed, so. But I just wanna make sure it was clear that those are gonna be outstanding for a while until we get those, the SAMS number figured out. Cause it used to be a DUNS number, and then somebody won a contract in the federal government, so we get issued another number.
Sheriff, are you seeing any significant cost increases with food or anything like that, is that going up higher than it has in the past, or?
So I had a meeting this morning with Trinity Food Services, so I'm gonna open up to some bids.
Sure.
To
Okay.
see what contracts we can get. I think Trinity this is their first year in the jail, because I think last year was Summit, which used to be formerly known as CBM, so.
Yep.
Just kind of currently, I just had a meeting with them this morning with their administration, and there were some staffing issues that they had, so those are being addressed.
Thank you.
But yeah, they're gonna talk about if there's gonna be an increase in pay for the employees there. So you might see a little bit of an increase, but once I get some numbers, I'll get those to you, and I'll be
Okay.
put on the agenda for it.
Sounds good.
Are you pretty well staffed up now?
I think right now we're too short in the jail, and then for patrol, we're too short. I've opened internal opportunities for the current jailers to be promoted up to a deputy sheriff. So I'm gonna give that opportunity to some of the current employees already at the Yankton County Jail. But we are taking apps for jailers. I just had that put in the Press and Dakotan recently, so. And I was gonna bring up too, if we were gonna, as a county, if the county was gonna have like an Indeed account or a Monster account for countywide, so we can advertise for more employment for all agencies in the county.
I don't think that'd be a bad idea. I mean, you
Yeah.
throw a wide net.
Yeah, and anything, published in the P&D, that comes under your publishings.
Yep, and then, so my understanding is that I got the jailer position published in the P&D, and they post that on a Monster. But I was just wondering as a county if we'd be able to,
Yeah, and we can, when we have, job openings here, we send them to our state coordinator,
yep,
and she'll send them out to the different counties and.
yeah,
I think he's meaning
Yeah.
social media, kind of.
like a nationwide.
I guess
Indeed is a,
I wouldn't have,
It's
Gary,
like
are
a
you aware,
headhunter
do we
kinda
do we
thing.
have anything
Yeah.
like that, or?
No, I checked into that.
Yeah. Would you, what's the commission feel? I think Gary'd probably be a good one to handle that, if is that something you'd do? And then, I would say also with that, we have a lot of these specialized jobs, like jailer. I think going through the NACO organization is a great opportunity. It costs a little bit of money, but some of these jobs are highly specialized.
Yeah.
Jailer, and I guess if there's no objection from the commission, we could have Gary set up one of those accounts.
I checked with NACO too, it is expensive,
Was it like 400?
five
But,
something.
some of these positions we've had open for It's a lot more expensive to hire the wrong person and
Every
then,
time.
you know,
I don't
So-
know that being a jailer is a typically a highly specialized.
well, I was saying the lead jailer though.
Oh, for jail
Yeah.
administrator?
Oh, you mean the jail
administrator and-
administrator?
And all the open, and it's not just that department, we have a lot of open
When it goes to
positions
the,
in some of those.
when it goes to the P and D, does it go on what used to be job service? I guess I don't know what they call that anymore.
Yeah, they go, and it goes to Monster as the, so. My thought process would be, you know, currently showing the current jail employees that I'm willing to promote within. And that opens the door for other people to want to start in the jail. And some people are maybe willing to move from the state, you know, to start in the jail and then work their way up to the deputy sheriff position. But just something, some food for thought.
I would be fine with, you know, casting the net a little wider.
Oh, yeah.
There's-
I don't think it's gonna
There
hurt
is,
anything.
I mean, there is multiple services out there that cover lots of different job boards.
For free,
Or, well, nearly free.
uh,
Um,
nominal cost.
Yeah, and, you know, and they end up on South Dakota jobs as well, you know. They make sure they get posted just about everywhere.
And I will
And so-
notate too that, I've talked to the sheriff in Hughes County. He's having a hard time filling his jail administrative position. Brookings County has a position open for jail admin. Davison County just had an opening for theirs, and then obviously ours, but it's gonna be a tough job, but
Yeah.
you want somebody that's gonna be good and thorough, in that position, so.
We need a motion to allow them to advertise on that, or or we probably don't, do we, Rob, or what? So,
Cause I still have the opening, it's just, if we had an account, we can put it on there.
I guess if it's okay with the commission, get with Gary, if it's okay, Mr. Chair, set up one of those accounts, and I think we should advertise for all the county.
I wanna know as a commissioner how much it's gonna cost us to be on Indeed.
We could not, I guess we could not do it and then not hire these guys. I mean, it costs a lot to
I
not
think-
have these positions
I
filled.
think what we're doing, I think what we need to do is we need to go, we'll go out and find out all the pricing and everything else. come
Before
back
we
next
just
meeting,
arbitrarily
Okay.
start.
and come up with the plan for the next meeting then.
Okay,
I'd land there too. Any other
Who's
discussion?
gonna go out and get the quotes, Gary, or,
Well,
that's my only concern is, that's,
Well, if we
Move on
publish
with it.
something in the P and D, they already run it on Monster, so you could probably rule Monster out. But Indeed's a pretty active
It is.
national recruiting tool, I guess.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we can do that. It'll
Gary-
take a couple weeks,
Gary, would you
know.
wanna get together this week to talk about it? Sure. And I can take
Yeah.
point on it?
And I would be fine, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be fine, Ryan, if you wanna get to them and at your discretion, set up an account, if it's reasonably priced, I guess with all these openings we got and the openings we have coming up, you know, waiting 2 weeks, and then it'll be probably a month before we get it out there. We need these positions filled, in my
unless
opinion,
somebody's
sooner.
hired before then.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, I am
Yeah.
hopeful that people want jobs.
You know, I have gotten apps for the jail administrator position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not saying I've gotten a couple already, so. But just for the whole county, I didn't know if that's
Yeah.
something to look into, you know.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it's something that we should set up for the whole county, but it won't be free. It's gonna cost money, so I think we should, get everything kinda sorted out and figured out. Next meeting, we can approve something that's gonna be available for all departments in the county.
Has it been advertised with the association, I assume also?
Yeah, the Sheriff's Association posted on their Facebook page too. They just shared what we posted, so.
You try some of our neighboring state associations too, if you'd like.
We could send it through the state teletype too, which is a database for all agencies in South Dakota, so all agencies will, it's pretty common practice for law enforcement where people get it through their agencies. I don't know if some want to share it sometimes because then you recruit from other agencies, but so maybe they don't even show it to their staff. I don't know. But.
I guess I'd make a motion to approve the sheriff and jail report.
Have a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion further? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
You were on the agenda for reclassification of
Yep.
town.
Okay. Well, so since I took office on January 3rd, obviously with any agency, I want to get it to where I feel it needs to be. And so in order to do so, I'm doing a little restructure with the departments. So I have a chief deputy position that was budgeted. I don't plan on filling that role, but there are good people at the agency that I want to promote up. And so in your packets, you see the memo that I presented would be, so Chris Meyer is currently a lieutenant. What I would like to do, and this is per the policy, I think section 612 for reclassification, it would just move the lieutenant position to what we call a captain. And the reason why I would like to do the restructure would be because if we call other agencies, following up on some crimes or following up on other cases, when an officer calls from, they're a sergeant or if they're a lieutenant, the classification's not as high priority for some agencies. So, like example, I had a runaway juvenile from Las Vegas, Nevada. So in order for me to call down to Las Vegas Metro, when I was working for the police department, I was a sergeant. So when I call, or if I was a lieutenant, it's not as important to them probably unless they hear from like maybe a captain. So these positions that I'm proposing would be, two of the captains would be running their own patrol squad because they currently run 12-hour shifts now. So the two captains will work every other weekend. So we're always going to have coverage, and they're going to run their own patrol squads. The third captain is going to be a Monday through Friday, and that person would run the courtroom security. They would be doing lining up the transporters, things like that. So that's basically why I'm here. And you can see on the sheet, Chris Meyer's already a lieutenant. I would just like to do a reclassification to a captain.
So you think people think more highly of you if you're a captain?
When you call other agencies, and if with the restructure of the departments, they would be running their own patrol squads, the two captains, and then the middle captain would be, the transport person that line up the transports and run the courtroom stuff.
So do I understand this correctly, that you want to give them an increase in pay?
So the other two are current sergeants. So Les Drake, I believe he's currently a grade 9, I think is what I had on the budget sheet from last year, but step 10. And as a sergeant, he should have been actually at a step, or at a grade, let's see here.
How much is the increase in pay? What is,
Theirs would actually remain the same, because they're already currently making what a grade 11 would be at with all their service at the sheriff's office.
I guess maybe I'm not communicating well today.
Oh, that's okay.
So you're suggesting that Sergeant Jensen jump up a step on April 1st
Yep, on his anniversary date.
because he would then be a captain?
Correct.
And what would it be if he stayed where it is?
Well, his current salary is at the grade 10 at a sergeant level. So with the reclassification of lieutenant to captain, essentially I'd like to promote them all up to a lieutenant grade. And they're all making what a lieutenant would be making at the department. I don't plan on filling the chief deputy position, which is, I think it's $64,000 a year. So that's gonna be a vacant position. I just would like to have the restructure of the 3 captains, so 2 can,
So when the sheriff is gone, let's say you're on vacation,
well, I hope I get one someday.
just hypothetically,
Yep,
who then is in charge? It's
One of-
not the chief deputy, or you just go eeny, meeny, miny, moe?
well, the captains would be, so I would
Well,
delegate.
but there's 3 captains.
So, example, at the police department, they'd have the chief and commanders. So if I was to leave, I would delegate so-and-so will be in charge while I'm gone.
And how would anybody know who so-and-so would be?
Because I would notify the department, and I would notify that captain.
So one of the 3 you would point at, one of the 3 would take your spot.
Yep.
And they would still fill their position.
So there could be a time where, if we go to the sheriff's association,
Or he's on vacation?
yep. So let's just say if I was going to the sheriff's association and I bring a captain with me, it could be one of those 3 captains. They all plan on learning the civil process, just like I'm gonna go through at some point. But I would just, if I'm leaving, I would say Captain 1, Captain 2, or Captain 3 will be in charge in my absence. That's it.
You know, the sheriff's office is elected, you know, just like us, and, you know, this is his vision for that, and I know I'm gonna support our police, and so I would make a motion to approve the reclassifications and titles. You know, we gotta let him run his department as he sees fit, in my opinion, so.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, further discussion?
As long as it doesn't cost the county more. I
And
guess
that-
it doesn't make any difference to me if he has 3 captains or 4.
Yeah, and that's why they're currently already at a pay scale of a grade 11. So I strategically did that because I already knew that they're making that amount of money. So, and not filling the chief deputy position's the second highest paid position at the sheriff's office, so.
I think, since we don't have a liaison officer with the sheriff's department, this kind of puts us in a spot to make a decision on this here and now. I want to be sure that it's fair to everybody in the county when we do these things, and I guess I'd like to table the motion for a period of time and then come back after we've had time to visit with you and understand fully what it is, but that's just my opinion. So with that said, roll call vote, I guess. You have something to say, Wanda?
I could support that. I mean, I just looked at, and that's why I had questions for the new sheriff, is because I didn't understand his memo very well.
So what was the question? I mean, so there's no pay increases for any employees until their anniversary date. Currently, Lieutenant Meyer's already at a grade 11. It's just a reclassification, so on the county salary matrix, at grade 11, lieutenant would just change to captain, that's it. So, and the other 2 individuals have been longtime employees. Since I've taken office, you know, the way I've thought of things is that I would like to promote people within the agency and not bring my own people over. I think that there's a lot of good employees that work here already, and I wouldn't have run for the position if I didn't believe in those guys. And so this is good for morale for the agency. This is good for,
What's the step increase on their anniversary date?
so if you look at the memo for Les Drake,
It doesn't say.
yeah, his current salary would be 62.
Yeah, but it doesn't say what it would move to.
Well, okay, so the 2023 wages, if I go to grade 11, step 3,
63, 280.
It'd be 63, yep, 280 and 73 cents.
And his salary now is what?
Right now, his current salary is 62,468 and 76 cents.
So on his anniversary date, no matter what we call him, he's gonna get an $800 raise.
Yes. So that's why strategically, when I did this, it was part of the process.
Any other discussion?
No.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please, Patty.
Dan,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Wanda,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Tell the captains
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you very much. I appreciate it very much.
Preston?
Oh, yeah, I'll send it for you.
Or you can,
I can send it now, too.
I didn't know if they were even
Oh.
gonna sit.
I don't see how I.
Thank you.
Where did, oh, there he is. He moved. He was over here.
Okay. Next would be Register of Deeds Quarterly Report. Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and greetings, good evening, Commissioners. Nice to see some new faces. In your packet, you can see our department's monthly overviews from October, November, December, along with the fourth quarter report for 2022. It's a pretty average quarter. We collected about $80,000 in various fees. We recorded $38.4 million in real estate transactions. So there's nothing much to expand upon there. Also in the packet was my annual report for 2022. And just going over some of our office activity from last year, we filed 1,328 liens, issued 1,210 death certificates, 1,120 birth certificates, 334 marriage certificates, 164 marriage licenses. We recorded 969 deeds, 790 mortgages, and 705 satisfactions. We filled 629 requests for copies, processed 66 plats, and we had 65 notary signatures. Those are some of the leading items. We have a lot of other minutia that's not listed there. Most of our real estate recordings were down in 2022 compared to 2021. By that I mean the total number of documents. You know, 2021 was just a record-shattering year across the board. So if you view our 2022 numbers in comparison to all years before 2021, it was our second best year ever. We collected $344,326 in fees last year. And breaking that down, we had $161,786 from transfer fees. We had $94,538 from real estate recording fees, $45,735 from vital records fees, and $42,267 from copy fees. Again, it was our second best year ever for fees collected. And these last 3 years total were by far the busiest in the history of our office, with over 1.1 million in total fees collected during that time. And so hopefully that upward trend will continue in 2023. We'll see how the real estate market goes. Real estate is always what people are interested in. We had 161.8 million in real estate sales last year, easily our second best year ever. In 2021 and 2022 were both the top 2 years in county history for real estate sales. Through 2020, we had never seen a year with even 120 million before. So now the last 2 years, we've been at 176 million and 161 million. The next page, we had burial permits, divorce decrees, marriage licenses. Those were all pretty average compared to the 10-year averages that we keep. We had 165 burial permits. The The average is 162. We had 164 marriage licenses, and the average is 166 for the last 10 years. There were 62 divorces, and the 10-year average is 59. Lien filings were up, county liens especially. We had 1,328 liens, I mentioned earlier. Of that amount, 1,203 were county liens. And there were 116 state liens, 6 federal liens, 3 mechanics liens. County liens were up about 34% from 2021 when we had 898. I think a lot of it's due to liens involving prisoner care, legal counsel, and medical expenses for prisoners. Would you agree with that, Patty? That's what a lot of it is. I usually include birth rate and death rate trends in this report, but it always takes several weeks to get that information from the State Department of Health. They have a statistician, and he's a little cautious about putting it together, so I'll report those numbers down the road, perhaps at the next quarterly report. That's about all I have. Any questions?
I'd make a
No
motion
questions?
to approve the Register of Deeds quarterly report.
We have a motion for approval of the Register of Deeds quarterly report. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Wanda. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
And next, we're ready for the nurses' quarterly report.
Hi, Jen.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. For those who don't know me, I'm Jen Weschler, the Community Health Nurse, and I brought Amy Ratterman. She's our new WIC Nutrition Educator. So we are fully staffed now in our office.
Yay.
So doing well. Did anybody have any questions on the report? It's kind of lean this year. We've been so busy with just
Why don't you just
being
go through and hit
short-staffed.
the highlights so that the people out in the audience.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So as far as personnel, I just made a note that Amy began working in July. We're fully staffed. She's completed her orientation, so we're getting our appointments kind of spread out, and that's going well. We completed some training from the University of Minnesota. It's a yearly occurrence. We continue to offer immunizations by appointment. We try to identify kids that come in for the WIC program and try to make sure that they are up to date. Like I mentioned, our biggest challenge has been the formula shortage. That started about February of last year, and we're finally kind of coming out of it, so that's been a relief lately.
Did you ever run out of formula, or were we just
A lot of the
really low?
stores did. Then
Okay.
the state was able to get some, like, delivered to us, so just
Okay.
some small shipments that we could then direct issue if we needed to.
So, well, we always had some, maybe not as much as we wanted,
Yeah.
but we always had some. Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah.
Any questions?
Amy, what was your last name?
Amy Ratterman.
Okay.
Moved to Yankton about a year ago.
Welcome.
Welcome here. Glad to have you.
Yeah, we really like it.
She's loving the
Good.
weather so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, you
That's
moved
us an
from
easy
Minnesota,
winner.
right?
Just wait till Thursday.
I moved from Chamberlain, so
Oh,
Oh,
from
yeah.
Chamberlain, okay.
right up there, so,
It's better here than there.
yep.
Fishing's not quite as good, though. I think it's better up there.
I would move to approve the nurses'
We have a motion,
quarterly report.
motion to approve the nurses' quarterly report. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too.
You
Thank
do.
you. Next on the agenda is approve the January 3, 2023 meeting minutes.
I would move to approve the
Mr.
January.
Chairman, I had a couple corrections
Oh.
on there. On the county planning board, Don was on that, but I think we scratched city, county planning, and that was supposed to be, I thought it was gonna be John and myself.
Dan,
Yes.
I have the committee assignments down at item 11.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
have corrections.
Okay.
Do you wanna just do them then?
Yeah, well, I mean, are they gonna be a part of the minute? What, you tell us what's
Yeah, I
easiest for
will-
you.
These will, the
Okay.
corrections we make will be will be
Got
part
it.
of the minutes.
Proceed. Apologize.
I do have a change in at the public comment time. There was also Renee Haynes spoke and gave a kudos to the highway department for snow removal on Tabor Road.
Who spoke?
Renee Haynes, Hejna.
We usually leave the,
Public comments.
usually the comments aren't that nice, John. so
That's why I wanna make sure we got it
we have it as proof, right?
in. Right.
Good point, Dan. Are there any other comments on the minutes from the January 3rd meeting? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the
I move
minutes.
to approve the January 3rd, 2023 meeting minutes.
Thank you, Wanda. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, John. We have a motion and a second to approve the January 3rd meeting minutes. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose the same sign. Motion carries. Next item, the claims. You've all reviewed the claims. Does anybody have a question on them?
No, I was looking at planning and zoning that's our fees for District 3. That's that $28,000. I think it just
Yes.
comes in as professional services, but that, if anybody was wondering, that's our fee for District 3 to work with us, so. I would make a motion to approve the claims.
Thank you,
Second.
Dan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Wanda, thank you. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose the same sign. Motion carries. Next is the auditor treasurer report, pool cash report.
I'd move to approve the auditor treasurer report.
Thank you,
Second.
Wanda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dan? Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose the same sign. Motion carries. Mental illness quarterly report.
Move approval.
They just put them in the packet, don't show up, correct?
That's, ours, yeah.
Then I'd second Dan's motion.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose the same sign. Motion carries. Next, committee assignments.
This is the one that, the fourth one down, it's the County Planning Commission, Yankton City County Planning. It's basically the same down at the bottom where it says Yankton City County Planning Committee. Those are basically, it's the same thing.
I would assume that.
Yeah, I think what we should do is delete Yankton City County Planning from the fourth one, because Don is on our county planning board, and leave him on that one. And then the Yankton City County is a separate board. And then I believe John and I were gonna do that one, is what my notes had.
Correct.
And that's the one where we meet with the city. So it,
That's,
And,
my notes say that as well.
yep.
Pardon?
Okay,
My notes say that as well,
Okay.
that we had deleted that and those two commissioners were.
okay, there's just the city county planning, and that's Dan and John.
Yep.
Correct.
And then the fourth one down should just be County Planning Commission, and then Yankton City County Planning Committee should be struck, and then Don is on that one. I thought I had Conservation District. Ryan, was that you, or did you end up
I
switching?
think that's me.
I
Okay.
thought that was John.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys, okay, that should be good then.
And one other change, I'm told that the federal prison liaison person is a requirement with the agreement with the federal people and the county, so I
I
would
guess
stay
we'll
on
keep it.
that.
Okay,
I would stay on that if that's okay with.
Did they let you know about it? That's the only
Well,
thing we've heard from them in a long time.
no,
so-
they didn't let me know, but
Okay.
Thrive
Okay.
did, because Nancy's
Okay.
the secretary of the prison thing.
Okay, so Don is on the county
Yes,
planning commission,
yes,
and Dan and John are on the city, or the
Yes.
county.
Yankton
City.
City / County Planning Committee, it's a
Okay.
joint committee, yep,
Okay,
thank you.
and then we have the prison is still on, and who is that through? Who is
Don.
it?
That would be it.
Don.
I'll stay on it,
Okay.
the federal prison, yeah.
Okay. And I'll just need a motion to change those.
I'd entertain a motion to.
Make a motion
make
for
those
the,
changes.
to update the corrections.
I would second that motion with the corrections.
We have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Next, public comments. Hearing none. Leadership training discussion. I firmly believe that it's important to train our leaders, and as times change, so do leadership techniques, and we're having some issues where we can easily promote training within our department heads, and possibly as we go down the road within potential replacements for department heads. And our tech has a leadership fundamentals level 1 session that's going to start in February 15th. They meet for 3 or 4 hours every Wednesday afternoon for 6 weeks, and they cover a series of topics. Leadership style, yesterday's peer, tomorrow's leader, brainstorming and problem solving, conflict management, team building, working with teams, and coaching basics. So I would like today to go to our department heads, have a motion to go to our department heads and get 4 people to attend that first class. They'll have a second class in April, or no, second class is in the summertime, and the cost is $1,850 per person. And I'd make that motion that we do that.
I think it's a good idea to develop our leaders. I could support you on that, Don. I would second that.
A motion and a second. Further discussion?
Yeah, and you know, it costs money, but it also costs money to have people who can't effectively lead and make mistakes. And I hope people see this as an investment in our employees, an investment in the future of the county, because that's really what it is.
And I think we could take that out of our commissioner budget.
It'll probably just come out of miscellaneous.
For
Yeah.
miscellaneous, okay.
And, you
Thanks,
know,
Patty.
to that point, maybe next year we budget so much for something like that.
Yep.
A lot of these departments have, you know, missing staff and deputies and all of that, so I don't think it'd be a problem, so.
Okay, great.
Can I make a public comment on that?
Certainly.
Okay. So Sheriff Chrissy, I do want to point out that Law Enforcement Training Center in Pierce, South Dakota, they do have free training for the law enforcement side of it, for like first line supervisors, for sergeants, and they have a company come up from the Dolan Group, so a lawyer firm out of North Carolina. I attended that training last year. It was quite informal, and it was geared towards law enforcement. So I don't know if this is pertaining to law enforcement or not, but there was some free training that Pier does put on for officers. So, but I know this might be a little bit different, but this is geared towards it. So it's free that the LAT puts on, but.
And Don, I know our NACO group, I think Gary said, NACO does online training geared toward county governments. I want to say it's $1,200, but as an option for some of these departments that are short-staffed and maybe somebody wouldn't want to do, couldn't get away on a Wednesday or something, that'd be an option, because that one's 100% online. So I would support leadership training, you know, no matter what it is. But it's good to be local too with our
Let's
tech.
keep it open.
Sure.
And
Yeah, and they, you know, make
be
it,
positive about it.
yeah.
Going forward.
Because we got, you know, quite a few of these departments are just one person and they probably can't take off, but they could do that, so.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Commissioner updates.
I have none,
None?
not yet.
Ryan?
I don't have anything yet either.
Dan?
Yeah, a lot of bills are getting dropped right now. I'll do if you guys want, send me an email. I'll be happy to keep you updated. I meet with the association every Wednesday to go over these. Some of the ones that we should be aware of is like House Bill 1050, that would authorize counties to do a sales tax by Ernie Otten. You know, I hope if you guys are able to, show some support and reach out to legislatures. There are some other ones out there. Senate Bill 51, that's a reimbursement for counties for our parole violators. So right now, if, you know, and Sheriff, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody is on parole and they break parole, they go into our jail and the state really doesn't pay us as much as they should for them being in there. I think it's what, $60, $70, where our cost is more than that. And so they're looking at having the state reimburse us for that one. And then House Bill 1029 is, if it passes, would deal with some zoning issues like special permitted uses and those types of things. So if anybody has an interest, wants me to keep them updated, send me an email. I'd be happy to keep you guys posted, so.
On that note, House Bill 1034 is one to also take a look at.
Which one? I'm not aware of that one. 1034?
1034, it is involving tax assessments for the counties, so,
Okay.
and it could affect our county.
Is
in the
that the
future.
property tax reduction
Property tax
bill?
reduction,
Yeah,
yep.
yep.
So, I'd be very curious.
Yeah.
Some other
Yeah.
counties in South Dakota will be affected way worse than us,
Yeah.
but
I believe that's the one, is that the one that's being proposed to value land according to production? It's comes up almost every year
It's-
with the West River. They don't think, they want to pay less taxes
Yeah,
than East River,
yeah.
and so, yeah.
And, yeah, and it's kind of like a raw cut off the valuation of land. It could be, it could have some bad effects if it's not done right.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. I'll keep an eye on that one too. That's all I got.
John?
Nothing really. I did meet with Mike at the Highway Department last week and checked over those new used trucks that we purchased for them to move snow and haul gravel. Other than that, I also met with the ambulance group last week also, so. Troy will be here next month for his meeting, for his report, so.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I had one more thing I wanted to bring up in regards to recording the meetings. I've heard some feedback from the public. How we used to do it with Zoom and Facebook, I think, was pretty popular, and things have changed. Is there any interest in going back to how it was? Because we could have people call in via, or well, join us via Zoom, and it was a lot clearer. Right now, if one of us is gone, we have, our option is to call in on that phone, and it's very unlikely it'll get recorded to the meeting log. So is there any interest in, or maybe you're working on something, I guess?
I'm definitely interested in improving our online experience of our meetings.
Okay.
Because I think, you know, like you said, like in the,
Okay.
in those tools, the Zoom and others, you can set up split screen. So when we are doing plats and showing plats up on
Yeah.
the larger screen,
that'd be
that can be
great.
shared online, live. And that's just gonna give the viewers a lot better clarity on what's going on.
Exactly, and I'd be willing to work with you or go through some ideas, but I know there's a lot of people, particularly our older population, who look forward to viewing these, and it's not the same as it was, and I'm hearing that, so
And
hopefully.
ideally, those things that get recorded along the way too, so when people go back on YouTube, then hopefully we can have both
Yeah.
what was actually
Would
shared
agree.
on these screens, because otherwise, you know, you watch those and you can't really see what's going on the screens, particularly when you have plats and
Sure.
zoning discussions.
Yep. And people not using their microphones, right, Wanda?
That's right. I have actually had a couple of
Yeah.
older ladies call me and say that the current way we're publishing our meetings is not good, and that the last most recent one that's on public access television is from November.
Yeah, I've heard that exact same thing, so, okay. Well, we'll try to solve that.
And they do appreciate the using of the microphones.
I'd just like to touch briefly on some information that was put out by the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and I don't see the email, but everybody could get this by going on and looking up State of South Dakota Governor Office of Economic Development. And they put out a monthly status report on different things. And for example, we all know housing is an issue in South Dakota for job creation. And this data, I'll just read three of they probably have, South Dakota's really doing well compared to the rest of the states in the nation. But in housing, year-to-date, South Dakota's total new housing units permitted is 9,139, spread across more than 4,100 buildings. Total units permitted is 25% higher than at this time last year. The collective valuation of these new units exceeds $1.7 billion. Next point. For perspective, as a rate, South Dakota has permitted more new housing units than any other state at 1,004 units per 100,000 residents. This rate is 116% higher than the national average. Lastly, the latest data from Realtor.com shows South Dakota's median price per square foot is 14% more affordable than the national average. South Dakota's listing also continues to be most stable of any state with the lowest rate of markdowns. So I would suggest if you get a chance, go and read those reports. It's good to bring out a lot of the good things that are going on in the state and the county. So I'd encourage that.
Thanks, Don.
Next, I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session for relief issues pursuant to South Dakota Code L 1-25-2 and 28-13 and 28-13-1.3.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're in executive session. gets worse every time I sign it.
I'll put some sticky stuff on there.
I just realized there was that. No one's gonna know.
Hey, Don.
How are ya?
My little pickup in the back of your big pickup.
You what?
I put my little pickup in the back.
Oh, in the
of your
back?
big pickup. Yeah.
I put new tires on it finally.
Looks nice. Looks
Yeah.
good. Looks good.
Chance I,
Well,
you know,
welcome aboard.
what I don't like over here is over there, the stationary thing. Here I got. Thank you.
Yeah, and there was a, an old prior county that they were, counties were looking at insurance office looking at kind of one carrier guy for all the counties. And then a lot of run around scales, but I don't think. Yep, and I've done that before, on the certified scale kind of way. And there's a state statute that says within, it might be within a 5-mile radius, so I'll have to look at the statute. Sure. You buzz in one day, we can look at it and stuff. Yep. Don, have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
sisters.
Okay.
And Leo was the only one. But,
Okay.
do you get lots of things, so on coffee, and morning coffee, you know, we go about what Leo's been doing. And Leo will be, oh, we're gonna do this and that. And the other son, he said, well, you know, as soon as he's gone, we're gonna do it this way, this way. And I think, you know, somebody who has got probably at least 80 to 160 acre projects, and he's doing, and he's got his own asphalt plant down there by,
Well, it makes sense.
yeah, I mean, he does that sort of stuff, and he's a good, and now I just heard that he, was talking, that they said, well, that he can, he likes to do things right. Doing that, he's got this, he's built that. Since, I mean, he's one of the bigger guys in Sioux Falls, but I mean, in Sioux Falls, he was down Yankton, Lennox, in couple three, Harrisburg, and I think there was one or two in Sioux Falls, and he might have been like Watertown or someplace other, but I mean, he's got all of them going, and they're just, they.
Well, I know somebody said Freeman's putting on development there.
Well, he might be on that, because
So,
he
yeah.
goes to little areas, you know, and do a 60 or, I mean, maybe 80 or 160 acre, they do, work.
Yeah, because, so Dave and I had to pick something up towards the airport in Sioux Falls. And so like when we went out of Sioux Falls, we just went straight, you know, across the interstate, just went straight on what road that is.
Oh,
you know.
and went
And
straight
just-
west?
Yeah, straight west, and we like had the T-Hills Road or whatever, and then we just went south, and then we went on the west side of the T, and so, I couldn't believe all the
Oh,
development.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that's probably Tri-Valley and West Central School Districts in that area. You know,
Yeah,
so
well, yeah.
you see those districts that are growing, Harrisburg,
Yeah.
T, you know.
Well, Harrisburg now is this double A.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, there's 5 double A's, there's 5 double
Yeah.
A's besides Sioux Falls.
And the thing about it is, you know, I remember Harrisburg, well, even like Sioux Falls Christian, I remember they used to be the small little B class, because when I coached basketball back then, that was, you know, you could play in class B, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, you look at it now, how they had Harrisburg.
And Harrisburg 10 years ago wasn't, that
And
was,
now look at it. I
yeah.
can't imagine all that growth, that's hard to manage, you know, when you have steady growth, you know, it's pretty easy to monitor, you know, when you have a huge growth like Harrisburg.
in Sioux Falls in the area, I mean, they're well over 200,000 now.
And that's why I wonder when they say those stats for the state, something like that, how much,
Yeah,
in Rapid City,
yeah, and,
the hills,
yeah.
you know, there's a lot of, you know, was it 2 summers ago, we drove from Spearfish down to, I don't know where it was, we took the back, we did the highways, and we ended up dirt somewhere.
185.
Yeah, so
Some
like
of those
I
highways,
couldn't
yeah.
believe, you know, all the development and stuff, and like I told the kids, I said, I was worried, I was driving the road, it was 2 lanes, I'm like, it was 2 lanes, you know,
Yeah.
from going from Leafy Redwood down to, you know, Custer and stuff, I said, you know, we look at all this growth that's happened out of here.
And that's the Air Force.
Yeah.
Because didn't they just get
They
that
gave them
new,
Well,
no, but it's two applicants, because see, the B1, that's
that's
several
been,
years ago.
yeah, that's been a while, but.
And they,
it's new.
but
New design.
yeah, the brand new one now that is, you know,
Yeah.
you can't see, I mean,
Yeah.
it's that, but that's going out there and.
I would move to come out of executive session.
I'll
We have-
second that.
We have a motion to come out of executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I would recommend to deny file CW 22-3-54 in the amount of $66,190.75
Second.
pursuant to SDCL 22-8, or, I'm sorry, SDCL 28-13-1.3 sub 1.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed the same, motion carries.
I would recommend to pay CWMI 22-4-9-10-13-001 at $500 each, and also recommend to pay CWMI 22-4-008 and CWMI 22-4-12 at the rate of $500 each.
I would second that.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Is there any other items for discussion at this meeting? Well, we do have items for the next meeting.
I understand as items for the next meeting, we're going to talk about commissioner expectations
And organization.
and organization.
Mr. Chair, at some point, would we want to get together and maybe do some, update our strategic plan too, you know, in the next few months? Or do you want that a part of what Wanda said, or do you want that as a separate meeting? Or how would you want to do that?
One of the things that I've been thinking about is we pay a good deal of money to District 3 for various things, and they earn it, but they can help us with strategic planning, but I'd like to go through the organization and what we think we should be doing as a commission before we go into that strategic plan. Hopefully,
Sounds good.
we could do that in February.
Sounds like a plan.
A-okay, sounds good to me.
No other items?
Not
Meeting
at this
adjourned.
time.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. We are adjourned.